Well, how are you, brothers and sisters? Father Frank Pavone here, National Director of Priests for Life. Happy Thursday, and wanted to come on to greet you this morning, first of all. As always, assure you of my prayers, give you a blessing. But each day we're issuing a daily challenge, an action item regarding the election. Today's another day to mobilize and reach out to voters. That's the name of the game right now. Each of us has people that only we can reach. Right? Despite all the people I reach, there are some only you can reach, and we can say that of everybody who's watching right now. The election is truly in our hands. Now, I've mentioned before the action item that we are putting forth today, but it bears repeating, and now it's one of our official election daily challenge action items. And the one for today is to engage your contacts list. You can influence voters by reminding them to vote and by giving them information about the candidates. And then actually, maybe they need some help, either requesting filling out or returning their absentee ballot or going to the polling place. Maybe they need some assistance from you. Bottom line is, reach out to your contacts. That's our idea. Now, here's how this can work. Obviously, whether it's in your phone, the contacts there, in your email address book, on your social media platforms who are your friends and followers, the task I'm talking about is taking aside some time, and the challenge is to do this today or as soon as possible, setting aside the time to open up that list and literally to go from A to Z, step by step, and ask yourself two questions. How can I influence this person? Now, if it's a person who is on the opposite end of the spectrum, ideologically or politically, well, skip over that person. We're trying to mobilize voters to elect the candidates we want to elect, all right? So look at the people who are like-minded and ask, how can I influence this person in regard to the election? And then the second question to ask is, how can that person influence others? You may look at a person, and I've done this myself. Many of our friends and my friends and my team here have done this themselves. And it's amazing what I've found, and as I'm sure you will find, is that even if you are thinking every day about the election and thinking every day about who you can reach out to, there are people you will not think about until you look at that list. It's simply, the way the mind works. We don't remember each and every single person. But when we're looking at the list, I just did this a couple of weeks ago, and I did my list, for example, of colleagues in Catholic leadership and pro-life leadership. And I looked at some and said, wow, I haven't thought about that person in a year. But then when I reached out to them, they were enthusiastic, and they picked up the ball and ran with it. And they are now doing things for the election. For example, one of my friends who is in Catholic leadership, and I contacted them, and they have I didn't know this, they have a regular email newsletter. And when I sent them some information about the election, they said, I'm going to use this, I'm going to put a little corner of my email newsletter every time it goes out about the election, and I'll use some of your things, Father. This is stuff that you can do. You take the list, again, your phone contacts, your email address book, your friends and followers on social media, and you look at those names, you go from A to Z. Take the time, go from A to Z. And you say, okay, how can this person further influence the election and reach more voters? And you look at the name and say, oh, wait a minute, I remember they run a prayer group, or that person conducts a Bible study, or I remember this person has a big email list, and this is something that friends, it will pay off. I guarantee you it will pay off. We got to do it quickly. The reason that we're putting this challenge today instead of sometime next week is that the sooner you reach these people, the more time they have to reach out to other voters. Now, as far as what to give them, from previous election action challenges, we have votinginfo.org, a great source for information about the candidates. What you may want to do is look at votinginfo.org, get information about races that are particular to where that person lives, and send them just that information for their state, and they'll be very grateful for that. This is our action challenge for today, and I rely on you, brothers and sisters, to do it. I know you will do it. Remember, there are some voters that only you can reach. Now, today is the feast day of St. John Paul II. And the Mass that we're going to have in about 40 minutes from now, we have Mass each day here on these channels at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, is going to be, of course, the Mass of St. John Paul II, and we'll be reflecting more on his great teachings and his great example. He has a lot to say to us about welcoming Christ into our lives, about pro-life, and about political responsibility. John Paul II was obviously a great teacher, a great leader, a great pope, and we look forward to speaking about him later on during the Mass. So please pass along this election action challenge today. Reach out to your contacts, and let's make it another day of progress towards victory in these elections. I'll be talking to you throughout the day, and hope you're going to watch tonight also the presidential debate, and the president is going to make some important points tonight and bring some important challenges to Mr. Biden. So let's watch and echo what he's going to say. God bless you all. We will talk to you soon.
I think we have Richard Lee, we have Jim Garlow, and we have Father Frank Pavone, someplace there in the audience. So I appreciate you. I appreciate you.
Follow him, Father Frank Pavone, Fr. Frank Pavone, on Twitter. He is the National Director of Priests for Life. Please go to priestsforlife.org.